Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first Aviation Podcast. I am very grateful that I'm able to do this podcast, and I'm very happy, I'm finally getting a podcast out. So many talks about podcasts, but today is the day that an actual one decides to happen. This is going to obviously be the Aviation Podcast. Before we get started, by the way, this is made with Podbean. If you would like to see how Podbean works, go ahead and go to podbean.com. So, first we're going to obviously start out. I'm sure a lot of you have heard. If you have not heard, the Boeing 777X has been delayed. Apparently, it needs structural changes. So that means it's going to be delayed for, quote, several years. Now I've got this news through via Aaron Rines, but I've also got it from other stuff regarding the Boeing 777X. And some other news, the DC-10, the MD-11 is coming back, but not for UPS. A lot of people like UPS, and UPS. A lot of people like UPS and their MD-11s. But if you don't know, they retire their entire fleet ever since that Kentucky flight where where the Kentucky plane went up, and obviously they had an emergency. I'm not going to go into detail due to how sad it really is. Anyways, so that's that, of course. And some other things. About the MD-11, UPS is not UPS. Oh my days! FedEx is talking with Boeing and the FAA to attempt to get the MD-11 back up and running for however longer that they're gonna try to do it. So that's definitely some big things that they're gonna need to work on. Well, I say work on. There's something that's just some things that they're going to need to do. And then also, I don't know if you've seen yet, but the Southwest Airlines has revealed their new livery for Boeing 737, also known as the Boeing 737. This plane will be on the Bearing registration. If you want to look it up, it is N1776R. Now, it might not be on Flight Radar if you're trying to look it up on Flight Radar. I'm not 100%. This is the Boeing 737 MAX 8, and it has an American flag livery. It has a 1776. It's really dedicated to the 250-year anniversary of America being its own independent country. I'm trying to think. Well, I'm looking, I should say, at some news that we have on aviation. But, obviously, aviation does not like to give us a lot of news all the time. Sometimes they do. If you haven't already heard, this is a lot of people are starting to, a lot of news reportings have been talking about Joby Aviation, or also known as Joby taxis. Those little planes that can rotate their propeller, and their little air taxis. Well, originally they were only in the UK, I believe, and you didn't see them out in the open a lot. But now, Joby Aviation is planning to fly. Is there a truck outside? I had to look outside. I thought there was a truck. Excuse me. Okay, it's my sister's video. Anyways, Joby Aviation is planning to fly electric air taxis between John F. Kennedy International Airport and Manhattan. This is going to be done for testing for 10 days. Obviously, if you want to book one, do it. I don't know when they're going to start. But, it's quite crazy that, originally people thought, these things are a little joke, the FAA will never pass them, but now Joby is up and running. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what Joby air taxis plan on doing now, because I mean, obviously, if the people who go on these and they start liking them, well, then at that point you got to start producing more of these little air taxis, and you got to have more destinations. A good one would be like building hopping in like Houston, Texas. It'd also be good for like Los Angeles. Like I said, building hopping. You need to get from one building to another, but you don't want to do it by car. In case you're like famous, you can get swarmed, or you don't want to get caught up on traffic. Joby air taxis, taxis would definitely be a great option for. They'd be really a good thing for really any United States big city when you need to go like building hopping, or you want to go like places like New York, Manhattan to JFK and whatnot, Newark to Atlantic City, whatever you would like to do. Oop, what did I do? I don't think I did anything. So, I mean, that's definitely good. It's definitely good that we're getting at least some smaller transportation in a new, cooler aircraft. And these air taxis are, quote, supposed to be launching in Dubai, but apparently Uber is trying to make them like a way of Uber transportation. So we'll have to see how that lawsuit goes. Well, I say lawsuit. We'll have to see how that goes up. Okay, I'm just trying to look at news and talk at the same time. And whenever you're getting crap news. Man. I mean, I should already. Well, let's talk about jet fuelage. Well, let me rephrase that. Let's talk about jet fuel and how there's a shortage of it due to the war with Iran. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, Runway, the war in Iran is really over. And as you would be correct, it technically is over. But it's technically not. The Strait of Hormuz is open and all, but doesn't mean you're going to still be getting your oil. So aviation prices, fuel prices are climbing and causing chaos. A lot of these smaller plane owners, they can't afford to pay $2,000, $3,000 for literally a fuel up tank. Like, you can't, a lot of these smaller Cessna owners and Cirrus, well, if you're a Cirrus owner, you're quite rich. But a lot of these smaller, like these Cessnas and these Bush planes, they can't afford, most likely, they're probably not going to be able to afford $2,000 to $3,000. Like, yes, you might have the money, but it's just not really, it's not, I should say, what's the word I'm looking for? I can never find the words that I'm looking for whenever I need. It's not convenient. You shouldn't be having to worry about how much jet fuel you're going to spend. You should be, like planning your flight plan to be like, oh, jet fuel, yeah, it shouldn't be that much money. You shouldn't be like, oh, jet fuel, oh my, I'm going to have a heart attack whenever I see that price. Like, you really have to think about the cause that's going to cause. So you really need to just stay out of the wars. But I mean, if we stay out of the wars, the U.S. stays out of wars, which we'll have to see if that's going to happen. But if we can stay out of the wars, then we'll be fine, I guess. I can't, find any more aviation news, but I guess I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and talk about some other news. So, if you do not know, United Airlines, my favorite. If you don't know, it is my favorite airline. Anyways, so United Airlines has had quite a lot of, I would say, either in-flight emergencies, ground emergencies, or passenger emergencies. So a couple of days ago, people thought that there was a bomb on board, because they heard it was a ticking sound. They do not remember. I can't recall. Apparently, nobody knew what it was. But apparently, if you can hear my little 3D toy, it's like a little, it's like to make you think. Anyway, never mind. so they had they thought it was a bomb. Then United had a adult kidnapping, if you know, on one of the flights. And then it was much more. But United Airlines is such a safe airline. That's just, and one of my friends who is flying United, sometime soon, the other day he was like, I'm scared to fly United. I was like, dude, don't be scared. United is amazing, dude. Do not be scared, So, I mean, that's that. I was like, yeah, you don't gotta be that scared, You should be fine. If you're watching this, I'm not gonna state your name, but if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. If you know, you know. Oh my days, There's gonna be a lot of in here because it's hard to find news. Aaron Rhines is my main guy for news. So I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do. What in the world? Okay, we gotta find a website that will provide me with good news. Okay. Aviation Week. Ah, yes, seems good. I'm not following you on a podcast. Be quiet. I'm doing a podcast now, boy. Sam! Got him! Okay, I really need to shut up. Anyways, we talked about some more aviation related, especially for the channel and whatnot. YouTube channel, obviously. We are going to be doing some Microsoft Flight Sim. You may know I posted a Microsoft Flight Sim video yesterday. I don't know if anybody believed I was if I was actually flying the A320. But if you actually thought I was flying the A321, please don't think that. I was not flying the real A321. It was in Microsoft Flight Sim, one of the best flight sims that you can get. Okay. The best ones, y'all. The best ones. So, that's good. I can't even, think about what I want to talk about in the aviation podcast. I mean, obviously, aviation is quite the thing. In the new stuff for aviation should be quite good. I mean, I don't know if I'm taking any flights next, really. I mean, I do want to talk about one person in particular today, and we're actually just gonna come out with some breaking news here. Yesterday morning, a Cessna. It does not say the current Cessna, but at this time we do know that a Cessna has crashed with 13 souls on board, less than 30 minutes after takeoff. At this time, we do know that everyone on board has perished. Everyone on board at this time is deceased. Another plane goes off the runway at Falcon Field Airport in Mesa. I don't know where that is. Reading this off the new small plane crashes upside down near Southern California auto parts store, and I'm not even gonna try to say that name. I don't even know how to. Yep, yeah, killing 14 people. We don't know how many were on board, and we don't know how many it hit on the ground, but it could just be 13 souls on board. No, 14 souls on board, and yeah. Hopefully the NTSB will investigate that. In other news of the NTSB, let's talk about someone that you all know. So I'm sure that most people here. Okay, if you hear my dog in the background, I'm going to try to get it close to my mic so that you do not hear her. Okay. So I'm sure most of you know who TN Fly Girl. I don't know. Oh, don't make me scream at my dog on my podcast. Sorry about that. I was telling my dog to be quiet. Okay, so TN Fly Girl was a flight YouTuber She also was big on Instagram and YouTube. Well, she had, she did a lot of mistakes in her aviation career, like calling instrument training stupid. She would post videos about how her instructor was giving her bad advice, and all this. Well, one day her dad came in the cockpit with her, and I don't even know where they were going, and she had let him fly. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that's fine if he's got a PPL or even a CPL or even he's, everything passed. But no, like this, he did not have a PPL. He had no experience at an aircraft whatsoever. He had never been in the co-pilot seat. And she was giving him the controls. This lady just has a PPL and she's giving her father without a PPL her controls of her aircraft. Not to mention, she had a just fine aircraft. It was a perfect aircraft for training and then, being a beginner. And then when you work your way up, then you can get an aircraft. No, as soon as she got her PPL, she bought that aircraft that I was just talking about. Literally 3 months later, she bought a newer one. But guess what? This one wasn't slow. This is a high-powered aircraft made for people who have a lot of experience. Her being her, she did not have a lot of experience. And so, I guess everything went fine until we got up into whenever her and her dad were going over to Tennessee. I think that's what TN Flight Girl stands for. Tennessee Flight Girl? I don't know. And I don't really care that much. Her and her dad were on a IFR flight plan to Tennessee when apparently she kept descending slowly. And I guess she crashed. Well, no, I don't guess. I know she crashed. And so, obviously, she was found. Both of them, the NTSB said that they were both ejected from the aircraft because they weren't wearing their seatbelt. I wonder why this lady who doesn't know how to control an aircraft was not wearing a seatbelt. I really wonder why she was not wearing a seatbelt, because that is the dumbest thing I have ever. You have got to wear. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're in an aircraft. There's no if, buts, or so. It is yes and yes. 2 choices to do in an aircraft to wear a seatbelt. Your first choice is I'll wear a seatbelt, and your second choice is I will absolutely wear a seatbelt. There's no, I'm not wearing a seatbelt. There's none of that. You need to wear a seatbelt when you're on an aircraft. I don't care if you're in a 737, a 747, a 757. I don't care if you're in a Beechcraft. I don't care if you're in an A380. I don't care if you're in the Beluga, for Pete's sake. You have to wear a seatbelt. If you're at cruising altitude, whatever, take off your seatbelt. But whenever that plane goes down and you don't get your seatbelt on and you get ejected, you know what I'm going to say? Well, guess what? You should have listened to what every person in the aviation industry says. Put your seatbelt on. Like, y'all, you have it. I mean, it's not even just me that says that. Even airlines say, even while the seatbelt sign is off, you should still put your seatbelt on. It's because crap like that happens. You never know what's going to happen in your airplane. And also, let me mention this. If you have your seatbelt off and the plane goes in a nosedive and it stalls forward, you know what's going to happen. You're going to be so pushed up to the seat in front of you or your control panel that you can't reach back there and pull yourself to put your seatbelt on. So you know what's happened when that plane touches the ground. I don't care. Even if it didn't crash, you're going way away from the plane. And if you're flying a Cessna, you're going to go right through the propellers. So someone tell me someone tell me why you shouldn't wear a seatbelt. And if you disagree with me, disagree all you want. Go get in a plane. Don't wear a seatbelt. Whatever. I warned you, folks. And if you're on a commercial aircraft, obviously it's a law that you wear your seatbelt. So there's no choices. Whoa, that was quite loud. There's no choices to where you shouldn't and should not wear a seatbelt. There's 2 options. Yes, I'm gonna wear a seatbelt, and yes, I'm gonna wear a seatbelt. No, I'm not. There's no options. Anyways, I think that's going to end today's Aviation Podcast. Happy Tuesday, y'all. If this is Wednesday, wherever you live, if it's Wednesday right now, if you live in, Sydney, Australia, you live in Melbourne, live in Brinsby, live in some parts of Asia, maybe like Russia. I think it's Wednesday in Russia. I don't know. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope I can get this podcast up by the evening. I hope. So it's a beautiful Tuesday evening, everybody. April 28th. And I think that's going to do it. I will see you guys Thursday. I am not going to film a podcast tomorrow because I do stuff on Wednesdays. So no podcast tomorrow, guys. But I should have another podcast back up for you guys on Thursday. And obviously I'll make a YouTube post whether or not I am confirmedly doing that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye. Jesus loves you.